My name is Samantha Secord. I live in Papillion, La Vista, Nebraska. Getting a lawyer was never on my mind at the time because the person that I was with was a friend. So I was like, I didn't want to put that burden on them at the time. Um, but then when things started coming down that, insurance wasn't going to actually cover, and I, it was suggested to me that I reach out, and I reached out to Justin. I think my first impression upon meeting Justin is that he was just a really good guy, and he had the ability to care about me as a person, which I think was one of the biggest things. I just didn't want to be thought of as just, another case file or anything along those lines. I wanted to be thought of as a person. I wanted him to know what I was going through. And when I first met him, we sat down and we talked, and it was clear that he, was very compassionate and cared about me as a person. So I think that he, has a lot of um, experience in dealing with cases and dealing with people who have been in my situation. So I think with that experience, comes everything that he gave me, which is just being that person that, I could rely on to handle the stuff that I didn't know how to handle. The first time that I talked to him, it was kind of like, okay, well, we're going to hope for the best, but expect the worst. And then when we got further in the process and he let me know that he got the coverage that I needed, it was a huge relief for everything I was going through. Knowing that he found, like he went and he dug into it and found the umbrella policy that was there, knowing that there was more coverage, knowing that I would have options to take care of myself and, have the medical equipment that I needed for the rest of my life. It was huge. It was such a relief for me. And it was just really weight off my shoulders. Like it felt like part of the world came off my shoulders at the time. So it was good. In my mind, working with an attorney might have been a cold experience and just kind of trying to navigate everything and I felt like I was going to be alone in it. So when I met him and I realized that I definitely was not alone in any of it, and that he was going to take over the parts that were stressing me out. And he basically told me just to relax, that they'd handle it and they'd give me a call when they had news. So that was, a huge thing off my shoulders. Just really, it was really great to know that I was in what I felt were caring hands. The day of the accident, I was up in Yankton, South Dakota, Crofton, Nebraska, at Lewis and Clark Lake, and we were just having a good time, 4th of July. Ended up going out on a UTV just to kind of check out the houses up there because they're so beautiful. And when we were doing that, we took a turn too quickly, and the UTV rolled on me and crushed my leg. So when it first flipped, I had, at the time, we had just gotten a, oh gosh, she was like, I don't know, 12-week-old Westie, and she was with me at the time. So I remember throwing her from the UTV because she was on my lap. And so that was the first thing I said. I said, "Where's my dog?" And then I kind of did like a whole scan of my body of like, okay, I can move my head, I can move my hands and arms. And then I got down to my leg and I was like, can't move my leg. So that was kind of the part where I was like, okay, it's probably broken, not a big deal, I can deal with this. The first time amputation actually came up wasn't until I was already home from South Dakota. So I was actually meeting with a plastic surgeon here in town, and we were going over everything that it would entail to save my leg. And so I finally, that day, it was probably a week after I had gotten home, I was supposed to have a debridement surgery the next day. And I asked my plastic surgeon what he would do if he was in my situation. And he said, with being so active, that he would actually amputate his leg if it was him in my situation. Um, so once he said that, it was kind of like a situation where it kind of hit pretty hard at the moment, and I didn't acknowledge it at the moment. But within probably like the next 2 hours, I had made the decision to amputate my leg. At the time, I was pretty, I guess, depressed. And I was in so much pain that I was on so many medications that there wasn't a whole lot of like processing of like, okay, what's next? In the sense of, what does work look like? You know, I thought when I had my accident, I thought I was going to work through it because I would have to have something to keep my mind off things. And it turned out I couldn't do that because I just wasn't mentally capable of handling all that at the time. But there just wasn't a lot of like what I didn't envision the future at that point in time when it initially happened. I wasn't thinking about long-term down the road. I mean, I was really worried because of how much it was going to cost and how much, you know, what that looked like burden-wise on my family and myself. My mom lives with me. So it's just a lot of, we're going to have to get through this and we'll figure it out as we go.